I'm Izzy and I'm Deputy News Editor for The Saint, and I'm here today with Charlotte Peters, who's running for Director of Education. So firstly, Charlotte, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Charlotte Peters. I'm running for Director of Education, as she's just said. I studied abroad here 2 years ago, and then I've returned for postgrad now, so I'm doing my master's in Romantic and Victorian literature.
Okay, and firstly, why do you think you are qualified for the position?
So I think that one of the things that makes me uniquely qualified for this is the different experiences I've had and how distinct those have been. I did my undergrad at UCLA, so that's a very different academic environment from here, some positive ways, some negative ways, a lot of things I prefer here, but I think that we can draw on that and different experiences and academic policies here. And then as a study abroad student, I of course was integrated with first years, so I understood their undergraduate experience. And then now as a postgrad, it's a completely different world. A lot of ways are positive, but there are a lot of complaints I've heard and things that I think could really be improved upon.
Okay, so what skills do you think you have that will help you in this role?
I think that one of the main things that I have that's advantageous to me, aside from written and verbal communication, which is necessary for any job really, would be my ability to kind of have people confide in me and talk and reach out to different groups of people. Because I think that reach is such an important issue here. It's always kind of the same people who are actually clicking to take the surveys and the same people who are showing up to the forums. And I think that we have to cast a wider net than that in order for people to not fall through the cracks.
So moving on to your manifesto now, you've placed quite a large focus on environmentalism.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us why you think this is so important?
Yeah, so I think that it's nice being in a university setting because it's something that people do take very seriously, and that's not always the case in the wider world. I'm from America. That's definitely not always the case where I'm from, unfortunately. I think that it's just one of the most important issues we all face right now, and so I think that when you're in an academic environment where you have so many brilliant people from different disciplines and with all these resources and publicity behind you, it's just, I don't know, irresponsible, I think, not to tackle those sorts of issues. And on top of that, I think that it would be amazing to utilize the things that are already happening here on campus because there's so much going on, and it's really inspiring to me to see what students have been doing these past few years and all the ideas they've had and how they put it into practice. And I think that it would be so invaluable to those societies and those individuals and the research that's happening to have someone on the inside working to help them get things happening using the administration and the faculty as well.
And sort of linked to that, you talk about a living lab. Can you tell us exactly what you mean by that?
Yeah, so a living lab is kind of a weird concept because I think the term is tricky. Lab kind of implies something that's very scientific and therefore alienates certain students, and it also sounds like it's very insular, but really what a living lab is it's kind of an ongoing endeavor, and it's an interdisciplinary project that involves different stakeholders, and by stakeholders I mean students, faculty, administrators, and the wider St. Andrews and Fife community. And it's just people undertaking projects to solve real-world issues in a real-world setting. So there's no one space that it's happening in. There's no one group of people who it applies to. You can be from any major, any walk of life, and the projects could be something social. Like at Leeds, University of Leeds, for instance, they had a project where they were looking at including people who are not traditionally represented in sports. Or it could be more scientific or environmental. At the University of Manchester, they did a really cool study about how they could have florists deliver things with cyclists in the greater Manchester area rather than cars. And I think that another thing is it would just be a way to consolidate the work that's already being done here at St. Andrews in environmentalism, having one website where people can then engage in projects that are happening and propose other projects that would benefit the community. So,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. And you also talk about wanting to implement more networking events.
Yes.
So how would you hope to achieve this?
I think that the two things, aside from just having more of them and more interdisciplinary events, I think that so much of it is about advertising and, again, reaching more people through social media and just in person. And as far as interdisciplinary events go, I think they're so important because a lot of people have career trajectories that are very straightforward, and that's fantastic. A lot of people don't. I'm speaking as someone who studies Victorian literature in Scotland from America. So I think that by providing people with opportunities to network and to talk to people in different fields, it facilitates opportunities for collaboration. It also can spark ideas and inspiration for careers and just projects here at the university.
Okay, great. So just one final question. You talk about in general wanting to increase student engagement with academic issues, but this is obviously quite a big task. So how would you intend to start going about this?
Yeah, so I think that the class rep system here is fantastic because it's so amazing that people are allowed to collaborate with faculty and administration to make things happen here and make changes happen that benefit the students. I do think that it's not advertised as well as it could be to first-year students and especially to like joint degree, study abroad, and postgrad students. I mean, I was looking through the KPOD website, and KPOD's fantastic, but at the M-Skills section, there's a huge chunk of information, and in the center of that, there's one thing that says, you can get involved too, and another, find your class rep here. But that's just in that paragraph that I had to click through so many links to get to. So I think it's important to heavily advertise things and kind of clarify a lot of the websites. And I think it would be fantastic to have kind of brochures or even videos created by students tackling more specific issues about transitioning into St. Andrews, because they all kind of go hand in hand. The social element for most people connects to academics, connects to working in town. And so I think that that's all important to consider.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming to speak to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.